off of, you know, the favorite age range for transportation, knowing that you have seatbelts, does that impact or your preference for age range? Is it more difficult for preschoolers?
Our preschoolers are in car seats.
Okay.
And so they have the shoulder harnesses double hooked, and so we have monitors on our bus. So the monitors help us just get them in and out. By the end of the year, our ideal is to get them so that they can buckle themselves in, unbuckle themselves out. But those, of course, have no problem getting them seatbelted in. I mean, you have the little one that sometimes don't want to be seatbelted in, but the kindergarten through high school wear the seatbelts as well, and they have the strap harness, not a car seat, of course. And you know, our policy is, you know, buckle up. We have back-to-back seat to seat, or back-to-back seat to seat, feet on the floor and out of the aisle is our saying. And that gets kids to buckle up, stay out of the aisle, keep your things in your order, and, you know, just do the right thing. We just encourage them to put their seatbelts on. It's not hard to get them to wear them once you start getting them to wear the seatbelts and you encourage and you're positive with them. A lot of kids will wear their seatbelts with no problems.
And you start that day one at the school with
Day
them, right?
one at the school.
The monitor and everything.
Yes, the monitor. Not all of our buses have monitors.
Okay.
Only the pre-K always has a monitor.
So the pre-K has a monitor,
Mm-hmm.
and these kids basically are trained, again, from the time they start in your school district that they're wearing their buses.
Yeah.
The monitors help enforce that behavior, correct? Now, are these regular, long, yellow school buses?
Yes, I have a 78 passenger bus.
And how many seat belts per seat?
My bus has 2 seat belts per seat because I have 2 car seats. I'm a
Okay.
pre-K bus. The bus that I had last year had 3 seat belts for each seat.
Okay.
You know, it's hard to get 3 high schoolers in 3 seat belts,
Right.
depending upon their size.
Right, and that was one of the problems not one of the problems, we had we had a school district come in that had done a pilot,
Mm-hmm.
and they expressed that same thing. Look, it's hard for some of these bigger kids to get in, and I think they had problems with if they could only get 2 to a seat sitting on the buckle, or it was uncomfortable, some complaints about it being uncomfortable across their body.
Well, we have a yellow strap that comes down, and that adjusts across their body.
Okay.
So it keeps it off of their neck. So, but we tell them, an easy way to get kids to do it is tell them, go home, watch a video of a bus accident.
Okay, you do a scared straight program with them. So-
Because they don't want to fly through the air.
Right. Now, the buses with the older students don't have monitors. Walk us through that. You have problems? Well, do you have a mandatory district policy that requires the kids to have it? And if they don't, what do you do as a driver who doesn't have a monitor?
That doesn't have a monitor. Last year I had a kindergarten through high school bus. I had no monitor. My bus was packed. And I just every day, hey guys, come on, put your seatbelts on. Before I would take off, I would walk down through my bus. Put your seatbelt on. Please put your seatbelt on. By the end of 3 weeks of the first, all of my kids were getting seatbelts. I also am a bus driver that gives reward. Every Friday, I give all of my students a treat.
Okay.
I get my kids to make good decisions on the bus. They want to wear their seatbelts because they want to get a treat at the end of it. Even my high schoolers.
Okay.
You know, I have a very good repertoire with my parents. I talk to the parents. You know, Johnny's not wearing a seatbelt. Need him to wear a seatbelt. You know, I also have my kids, I teach them the strap goes across your chest, not behind your back. I have them all put their seatbelts on, put the strap behind their back, and then I tell them, okay, stand up, try to get off my bus. They can't, they're stuck. Now what happens when I have an accident and you've got that seatbelt behind your back? Am I gonna be able to safely get you off this bus? Because I'm not gonna get off the bus until I get every one of you off the bus. If you have a good policy with your kids and you talk to your kids and you show you care about your kids, they will wear their seatbelts because they know you care about them and you want them to get home safely to their parents. So that's how I do it.
What happens when, again, somebody's like, hey, little Johnny doesn't have a seatbelt on and you're driving the bus? What do you keep going? How do you report that? How do you deal with that?
I get on the my mirror, I look back at them and I'm like, you got your seatbelt on, come on, put your seatbelt on. And in general, if you call them out and you're not hateful, you do it in a positive way, they will do it, they'll wear them. If you're hateful and you scream and yell at your kids, they're not gonna do it. You know, you have to be positive. I get on my PA every day, hey, buckle up, buttercup. You know, if you make it fun, you make it enjoyable. If you love what you're doing and you love your kids will do it back. I don't have problems with my kids not wearing seatbelts. My high schoolers put their seatbelts on. So it depends upon how you address it and how you handle kids.
What is the policy for your school if you have a kid that's not wearing it? What happens to that
You
kid?
can write them up.
Okay.
We can write them up, and then they take that home, shows to the parent that they're not wearing their seatbelt. And then the parent has to sign it, send it back to the school, and then, you know, we follow up. They always want all of us, call the parents, talk to the parents. And if you get on the phone and talk to a parent, they're most likely going to encourage their kids to wear the seatbelts. You know, we end up taking and telling them, okay, you've got a day off the bus. So then mom and dad's got to drive them to school. Mom and dad don't want to drive their kids to school if they have to go to work. So they're going to tell their kids, wear your seatbelts.
Don't let me dominate these questions here. Somebody chime in. Yep.
I just want to clarify a couple of points. Thanks again for being here from Indiana. One is just on the capacity and the older kids especially. Have you found that if you put 2 of the older kids, they're still capable of being on the bus and wearing the seatbelt?
Yeah, they can get
Okay.
on the seat, they can get in and get themselves strapped in.
Okay.
Now, if I have a much larger student, then they're going to be one person in that seat.
Okay, but they can still wear the belt, it would just
Yes.
be one.
Yeah, they can still wear their belt unless they are very large. I've not ran into having somebody that is not able to get buckled in.
Okay. And we've heard concerns about just the time that it takes for the drivers to have to deal with belts. And
Doesn't take any
that
time
you
to
have
tell your
pull
kids.
over and that creates its own safety hazard. You've not found that to be true?
No, because if you start from day one and get your kids to buckle up, it doesn't take 2 seconds to buckle up. Doesn't take time at all. And especially with your little ones, if you teach them from day one, put your seatbelt on.
Yeah.
And when you get to the school in the afternoon, when you get to the school to pick up your kids, you just walk through your bus. If they don't have their seatbelt on, let me show you, Johnny, how to put that seatbelt on. Good job. Oh my gosh, give me 5.
Yeah.
You know, you encourage them. It's saying that you don't have time, then you don't care whether your students get home safely.